guys, welcome back to Clockwork Noodles for another breakdown of Vinland Saga Season 2, Episode 16. Today's episode was just shiver, magical. Ooh, there was a moment that really got the hairs on my neck standing up, and I'll tell you guys exactly when that was. Really enjoyed it. Before we get going, guys, do make sure you are subscribed. Our target is to hit 700. I'm so happy because I only do 2 videos at the moment because I did drop Dr. Stone because it just wasn't pulling in the views. I am still watching it, which does mean I'm only relying on 2 audiences right now to help me get those numbers up. You guys are absolutely amazing because I think I asked you when I had 17 to go. We've now got 14 to go. We've found 5 new noodlings. Can we try and get to 700 by the end of the year is my end goal. I try not to set big lofty goals on this channel because I never seem to hit them. 14 more noodlings by the end of the year. If you're not subscribed and you are enjoying my stuff, do make sure you give it a little hit because it really does help us out. Mainly because I want to talk to you guys about Vinland Saga. I've noticed people are just sleeping on. It's getting good. It's getting really good. It's that whole rewarding thing. If you sit with it, things eventually just reward you. I didn't think any of the quiet farming arc was bad. Personally enjoy seeing quieter moments and character development, but also do love action-packed bits as well. And to be fair, even today's episode wasn't action-packed, but the entire episode was so amazingly crafted that it was just beautiful. I think it's time to get going, guys. I was really shocked. I wasn't expecting Arnheid to actually be back at Old Man Ketil's. I presumed she had run off. I didn't realise how bad Gadir was wounded, so obviously it wouldn't actually have been possible for them to have gotten too far. So it made sense that she went back to the farm. We were told that Snake had just followed them back, at least her back. He didn't suspect that he was there in the first place. I thought it a bit odd that he had just vanished, or Gadir had vanished into thin air. Got a few interesting pointers about Snake I want to address a bit later on as well. I was really sus because they knew she was with him at the time of escape. I thought it was weird that she was back with them, but obviously Snake is really smart. He was essentially waiting for Gadir. He'd set a trap. He put her outside where she could be seen because he knew that the guy was going to come. Of course, he didn't think that. There's a point when he even looks at Old Man Ketil. That's how close he was to looking at Gadir, because you were looking at Gadir. Gadir's underneath the bed. I didn't think he would have been there, and I presumed that she had maybe thrown him in a barn or something. I didn't presume that he was under the bed, but then again, she did state Old Man Ketil helped me, so obviously he had to have been there. Old Man Ketil is just the OG, literal OG. I have so much respect for that man. Arnheid admits that she did indeed cut the ropes. I think she acted on instinct as well as panicking that there's a guy coming towards my husband. Natural that you want to protect the people that you love, even if he is a changed man, he's still her husband. It does make sense that you don't want to see people hurt. I get that she's really conflicted because the guy's killed people, and she's conflicted it's even bothered her. He's still her husband. I understand fully why it would be very difficult to at that moment do nothing. Almost natural to expect yourself to do something. I didn't even consider that Gadir was right under their noses, literally hidden in plain sight this week. Very, very clever. But Old Man Ketil, again, just OG. Let's talk about the Arnheid scene because it's a very heavy sequence in general. People just want to live their lives. People just want to be happy. And Arnheid just daydreaming that she might be allowed to have a life again with her son, with Gadir. As much as she says, it's a daydream, nothing more. It really shouldn't just be a fantasy. She should be allowed to just live her life like everybody else because slavery is just wrong. I think I've got this thought at the back of my brain that things aren't going to go well. It might do. It actually might do because, again, the teaser, I should stop myself from watching teasers, but teaser seems to suggest it might go okay. Arnheid is, of course, grieving. Losing a son does affect people, and her having this breakdown, I think, is good because it allows her to get it out her system. Bottling up emotions thing is bad, so I see her crying is actually a good thing. This is actually what I want. This is allowing me to get my thoughts and process. As soon as you hear Ina say, if you're willing to throw your lot in with him, it's all go. We're going to do this. Considering nobody was actually washing plates, crying, and there was a lot of shouting around, and then Arnheid quite loudly confesses to cutting ropes and stuff. It's weird that the guards didn't find it very sus, but then I guess maybe they had fallen asleep at this point. Worry that Gadir was still bleeding. He may not even make it. Do you still want to attempt freedom, knowing that your husband may not survive? I think I've touched upon it a few times that it's probably better to go out on your terms than live a life of just entrapment and being a slave and dying a slave. But as soon as we put the plan in action, my heart started pounding at double. It's like, oh my God, this is it. We're actually doing something. We're doing something against the grain, and we're actually starting to kick this plot into gear. Old Man Ketil, though, is the literal OG. The conversation he has with Snake is deep. Literally, luck decides whether you are a slave or a master, and you should remember this. You should remember that and show pity. See people who are slaves as just somebody unlucky. You shouldn't be seeing them as inferior because they're not. They're just people who have just, their cards haven't lined up the way that yours have. have. He does make a very interesting point about Snake's sword not being local, and we do see it again properly a bit later on. It does raise the question, where is Snake from? I am very curious. I almost want to say Eastern or Greece, but I feel like I'm stabbing around in the dark completely. It's more the fact that his blade is curved, and it makes me think Middle East, or it makes me think Mediterranean. I don't know if we're going to get those answers because Snake's a little bit pissed at the moment, but I would like some more information on Snake. I just don't think I'm going to get it. The conversation goes to the life of growth is better than the life of just swinging your sword around. And you get this again with Old Man Catil stating, like, you can have my farm, you can have everything, and it might allow you to straighten your life out, because he does at the end of the day care about Snake. It shows as well he's still lucid. There is a moment as well that Snake looks taken aback by this offer, but then of course he then denies that he doesn't want to be wasting time doing hard graft. I actually think deep down he would like that, and I think deep down he probably wants it. And I kind of do hope that Snake is able to put his life back into track. There's also this impending doom that Canute is approaching. I feel like all of this is going on, and there's a little counter in the corner that I've completely forgotten. And it says days to Canute's arrival, and it's ticking down really slowly. As much as this plot is important, Canute is coming, guys. We need to get you guys out of this farm before Canute arrives, because stuff's going to go down. But I always said that Einar looks like Gadir, and I've obviously at some point thought that he was the guy in the credit, and I've confused them. Now we know why they made them look so similar. Body double! My heart was pounding as we see Einar try to outrun a horse. No way he's gonna outrun a horse. He had a big lead. Yes, he had a lead. He didn't have that much of a lead though. As soon as Snake said, if that's Gadir, my heart knew. In my heart of hearts, I knew that Snake knew. Literally doubling him back, and I'm like, oh God, no, you know. Don't go back. Don't do it. Something's amiss. Something's not right. He's running too well for a guy who's been stabbed twice. Einer's obviously going to get caught by the guys. I hope he can at least get into the forest and then somehow double back without being found. At the same time, I think they're going to know it was you. We do get a second look at the foreign blade of it being a curved blade. They've got curved blades in Turkey. I feel like that area of the world, I would really like some information, please, Snake. I know you're angry right now. Could you just like at least pass a little note across so I know where you're from, because I am so curious. And that blade is absolutely gorgeous. I love it when he unsheaths it and there's like a little bit of a ring to it. I'm like, oh, nice. I like audio. I'm a big old sucker for audio. So as soon as the sword comes along, and I'm like, okay, I'm interested. I want to know. Askeladd as our backup. Okay, this is it. You've got no choice. But I love the fact he almost is devil's advocate. It's like, well, you know, he's got a reason to fight too, right? Can you really stay pacifist? How do you intend to handle the situation to get that best outcome? We don't want anybody to die. I don't want Snake to die. I don't want Thorfinn to die. I don't want Gadir to die. I want everybody to be alive and not deaded. How can we do that? As much as he's a beautiful bastard, but I love Askeladd. He is a very complicated character, and the fact that he still hasn't been properly shelved makes me so happy, because I was wondering if we'd see him again after Thorfinn had his dedicated to being a pacifist moment and he climbs out, and I was like, well, we're not going to see him again now, probably, because it's the first time Thorfinn has engaged in combat since. It's such a beautiful moment. This, my friends, is the moment those hairs on the back of my neck went up. That sword ring. As soon as we see Thorfinn kicking the sword, and there's this beautiful moment to create a bit of gap between them. Say no more. Absolutely say no more. Perfect. Love the composition. Love the fact there's no music to get in my way. It's just pure concentration. Thorfinn is concentrating hard to make sure that every single move is accounted for. It's a beautiful exchange between two very powerful men. Snake as well, judging everything. He's not throwing hands or anything. He's making sure that every single move is calculated. Even though he says, you know, I'm here to kill. I don't care. I'm not giving you a warning. I'm not here to negotiate. He's still taking it slowly because he can't underestimate Thorfinn. Somebody says that your first thing you have to do is you can't underestimate your opponent. You can't go in there, you know, I'm gonna win regardless, because that's when you lose. I love the fact that Snake doesn't go in pretty much expecting to win. He takes it very, very slowly because he doesn't know what to expect. He's also kind of gone up against Thorfinn before, and Thorfinn managed to block him. The moment Thorfinn's stance changes, immediately you see that bolt of electricity going through Snake, because he's like, oh, okay, things have changed. Reassess the situation. What is he doing? That doesn't look right. I love that moment, because it's like, oh, okay, maybe it's a defensive pose. And here's me going, it must be defensive. It does look a bit like he's doing the whole ninja thing with like, well, you know, when you turn your hand and you do the come get me kind of sign. I thought he was about to do that. I was like, Thorfinn's getting sassy. But no, it's Thorfinn holding the daggers. It's the weapon that he has grown up with. He's got the daggers imaginally in his hands, and it's the first time we've seen Thorfinn in the dagger pose since season 1. Oh, this is getting real. I'm nervous, and it looks like Snake is going to land a blow because he seems to have a nice bit of blood going down his face, which is sad because every time Thorfinn gets into a scrap, it's like, what the face? Pincushion. He's turning into a pincushion of scars. Looks like Snake's about to land one. Also, equally, where Thorfinn kind of gave Canute one on the face as well. So I guess it's payback to ruining pretty faces. I can't wait to see next week. I need to know what's going to happen. I love the way that the fight sequence was handled. It was quick. It was very quick. It didn't take up too much time. Every single move was calculated. Even seeing Thorfinn in the air, I got so excited. The tingles were there. I was like, ooh. This is getting good. I'm very excited. I love today's episode. Today's episode was amazing. It might be my favourite episode of this second half because it's a moment of seeing Thorfinn in action, but he's also taken the pacifist thing as his motto. He's not there to kill. He's there to just immobilise. If I can just get this guy out, if I knock him in the chin, he's going to be out. Don't think that's actually how it works because apparently it's very difficult to actually knock somebody out. Thorfinn doesn't know that. He's just going to try and get this guy at least unconscious or something. Hopefully it's going to end with a positive. It looks like it's going to end positively, but I don't understand how it's going to progress because Thorfinn and Einar were offered the you can leave thing in a year, but are they going to have this? But then Canute's coming anyway, so I don't think it matters. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys had as much fun with this episode as I did. I will see you guys again next week. Goodbye, guys.